What's going on, guys? Today we're going to take a look at the Atari single player USB fight stick by Micro Center. This is something you can find at the stores as of right now. I haven't seen it for sale on their website or anywhere else. And I wanted to talk about this joystick because it's pretty unique in that any retail setting you're not going to find something like this that is a single player, has the trackball, a spinner, side buttons for your pinball flippers. I mean, it has it all. It has a full-size joystick, American style, Hap style, whatever you want to call it. Pretty much has it all. It's like really full-featured. I mean, this is something that I haven't seen from anybody else, and it offers a lot of flexibility for all the different types of games that you can play on a system like the Arcade One systems. So with that said, we're gonna go dive in and take a look at some gameplay utilizing all of these different things that you can do with this joystick. And the one thing that for me is the biggest con with this joystick is that when you put it into keyboard mode, it's hard set, so the keys are not programmable. So it has the your usual standard MAME layout with Control, ZX, all that stuff. Personally, I don't use that because it causes issues sometimes with certain emulators, especially older emulators. So that is a big negative. Micro Center, if you're watching, and you can make that keyboard mode programmable so that you can, the X Arcade can do that, the iPack can do that. Basically where you can just assign any letter that you want from the keyboard to any button. That would be incredible. That would make this joystick pretty much like the best of the best that you can get right now for single player, at least at a retail setting, like I said. Alright, so let's go ahead and start with some spinner games. I'm not gonna do too much gameplay of regular games that use just the regular buttons because any other joystick can do that. So I went ahead and added some of the games I'm gonna be showcasing to my favorites just to make this video quicker. So down there you can see it tells you how to get into the favorites and everything. And if you think of the buttons as an Xbox controller, these four are your face buttons. So that would be the Y button up here to get into the favorites. Press it again. And yeah, might as well start with American Speedway. This is really a spinner game in essence. It is basically a spinner with a steering wheel attached to it. Now I have this attachment here. This is called the Mini Racer from Ultimark. They're the ones that sell the Amtraks and the iPacks. I went on their website, and right now it says it's sold out. I don't know if this will be coming back in stock. And basically what you do normally is you would remove the top of the spinner. You can remove that. There's a screw right here. I already have it loose so I can show you. And you would attach this to the spinner, and you can play games like this perfectly. It's literally a steering wheel at that point. Unfortunately, this particular spinner, the shaft is too thick, so I couldn't fit this attachment. But I'm sure if I wanted to, I can drill this out to make it fit. But I just wanted to show you guys that. So for now, I'm just going to put it aside, and I'm just going to use the regular spinner top. So let's go ahead and select this game. And I'm also going to be showing you how to map the spinner and the trackball at the end of the video when I get into the setup. I already have it mapped, so I don't need to do anything. What I can do though is show you guys how to adjust the analog sensitivity if you needed to. I think this game needs it out of the box. Yeah, see, I have to turn way too much. I have to turn the spinner way too much. It makes it difficult to play, right? So if you have that problem, you can just press tab on the keyboard, brings you in here, and you can go over to analog controls, and right here in dial sensitivity, you can dial it way up. I'm gonna try maybe like 60 or something like that. Okay, then I'm gonna press tab to exit, and now see that it turns much easier now. All right, cool. Let's try another game. So to exit on my systems, you hold back the select or the back or the coin button, whatever you want to call it, and you press the start button, which is the one next to it at the same time. And that brings you right back here. All right, let's try some Arkanoid. So this is obviously a spinner game. Insert credit with your credit button. Press player 1 start. Yeah, it works great, guys. This spinner is really good quality. Definitely not a cheap feeling one. It's very nice and heavy and smooth. It's fantastic. I'm telling you guys that this joystick, if it wasn't because you can't map the keyboard keys, I would consider it pretty much perfect. So of course here you can also adjust the sensitivity if you wanted to. I already showed you how to do that, so I'm not going to do it again. So let's go ahead and try another game. All right, Centipede. So this is a trackball game. So let's go ahead and insert credits, start, and here you go, trackball game. Awesome. You guys know what the deal is. It works great. This trackball is also really good. It's super smooth. Like, it does not feel cheap. Nothing about this controller feels cheap. This is really, really good. So exit that game. And okay, let's try another steering wheel / spinner game. Any day now. Insert credits. Okay, so on this one, maybe I didn't map this one. Let me check. Tab. I can go to input this machine just for this example. And I believe, yeah, that's not mapped. So I would go to dial analog, hit enter, move my spinner, and now it's mapped. Tab to exit. There you go. I was going to do that later on, but I ended up having to do it now anyway. That's okay. So let's go ahead and play. So obviously, you know, a spinner is kind of, a trackball is kind of a spinner. It's just, you know, X, Y, whereas a trackball is only X. So, I mean, if you had a trackball, you can kind of get away with playing a game like this, but not really. So I got confused there at the beginning. But yeah, same deal as American Speedway. You know, this one's actually easier to play with a spinner without the steering wheel attachment than American Speedway. Less turns. But yeah, there you go. Let's try another game. Okay, so with Metal Slug, I'm just going to show you guys the turbo feature. So if you look up here, you have a turbo button and you have a mode button. The mode button lets you switch between keyboard mode, mouse mode, and the direct input gamepad mode by holding one of these 3 buttons at the same time as mode. So for example, for mouse button, it's the 3rd button. You hold down the 3rd button, then you hold mode at the same time for 3 seconds, and it puts it into mouse mode. And we're gonna go and take a look at that in a minute here. But for this game, I'm going to show you the turbo button. So let's go ahead and start it. Okay, so obviously if you hold down the button in Metal Slug, he does not fire. You have to keep pressing it over and over again. You guys know how turbo works. Now if you press turbo and you hold it down, there you go. It's just rapid fire. So really cool feature. The only thing I would say about the turbo mode and the other mode, which let's go ahead and exit the game. So the only thing I would say is that, so right now, for example, I exited the game and my turbo is still on, but I have no way of knowing. There's no LED or anything. That's the other thing that really is missing from the stick. Not as important for me as having programmable buttons, but that is definitely something that could be improved upon. You know, original Volcano buttons had LEDs in them. So if this was LED and it would only turn on when it was activated, that would be pretty awesome. But you have no way of knowing, so just have to remember. So I'm going to go ahead and press it, turn it off. And same thing with the mode. So what the mode does, aside from what I mentioned already, is if you press it, this joystick can act as a D-pad, and if you press it again, it'll act as the actual joystick. So if you think of an Xbox controller, you know, your left joystick, and then you have the D-pad underneath, well, you can switch between the two by pressing mode. Normally, for my systems, you want to keep it on D-pad, and that's another thing, that there's no LED to indicate what mode you're in, so you just kind of have to know. Now, with my systems, there's a cool trick you can do. If you hold the joystick to the right, and you don't get the letters, so you can browse with the alphabet, you're in joystick mode. Let me go back to the main games selection here, and let me hold it again to the right, and yeah, see, you get the alphabet, you get the letters. So I know that I'm in D-pad mode. Now, if I were to switch it over by pressing mode, still works, right? But now if you press it to the right, you're not going to get the letters. You're not going to get the alphabet. And that tells me that it's in joystick mode. And I like to keep it in D-pad mode. So I'm going to put it back to D-pad. And now you see, you get the alphabet when you hold it to the right. That's just a quick trick on my systems to let you know whether you're in joystick or D-pad mode. All right, guys, let's go back into favorites here. I don't know if I had any other MAME games I wanted to show you. It looks like I don't. So let's move on. Let's try the flippers and some pinball games. Let me go down to Visual Pinball. Let me go into my favorites. And let me try Attack from Mars. All right, insert some credits. Start. And the plunger is going to be the red button. Press that. And there you go. You have your flippers. I think I did these two here as magnet save buttons. And then these top three here are your different nudges. Alright guys, I'm not going to be here all day, or this video will get way too long, so let's move on. I'm going to show you one last thing, and that is how to activate the mouse mode. Now, on my systems, when you try something like PopCap, right, those are mostly point and click games, the joystick is already automatically going to act as a mouse for you because of some stuff I set up behind the scenes, and this is going to be your left mouse and this is going to be your right mouse. So for example, if you go to PopCap, and yeah, this is fine. So you can move around with the trackball like a mouse, and then it says click here, so you would click with this button here. Classic game. Choose your pilot. Yeah, you have your left mouse right here. I hadn't started, sorry. You have your left mouse right here, and your right mouse right here. All right, go ahead and exit that. So with that one is automatic, but with something like Angry Birds that is under Windows, I don't have it set up automatically to do that for reasons I'm not going to get into this video. When you hear that chime, that means it's kicking this program called X output behind the scenes. It's kicking in to make this act as an Xbox controller. But for something like Angry Birds, it doesn't work with an Xbox controller. It's a point and click game, so you can move the trackball, but you're not going to be able to click with this button. So what you can do is utilize the built-in capabilities of this joystick to make it act as a mouse. So if you hold down the third button from the left over here, you hold down the third button and then you hold down mode for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Let go, and now if you use the red button, it acts as a mouse. There we go. So yeah, now it acts as a mouse. So now what you want to do with my systems is, let's say you wanted to exit this game. You go back to the main menu, you exit, say yes. And then once you're here, you go ahead and you hold down the first button to get back into gamepad mode. So you hold that one down and press mode for 3 seconds at the same time. 1, 2, 3. It's going to do that because this button normally takes you into the genre section. There's no genres for PC games, so it brings you here. You see it says no genre available. But that's how you know when this happens. That's how you know that you're back into game mode, gamepad mode, I should say. So I'm going to back off, back up again, and I'm back here. And that is it, guys. I mean, this thing is really awesome. You've seen how versatile it is. You can pretty much play everything on this: the trackball games, the spinner games, regular games, PC games, pinball games. I mean, really the only thing that I can think of, aside from the programmable buttons and LEDs letting you know that these two are on, the only thing that I would see as even something that would make it even more versatile is having one of these joysticks that you can pull up, turn, and then it makes it into a 4-way joystick. And that is something that you can definitely add yourself, because this is the same style joystick that those are available in. So I'm pretty sure, I haven't opened it up yet, but I'm pretty sure you can simply swap this out for one of those and you will literally have that capability as well on this, which at that point, I mean, it pretty much has everything. So definitely recommend this for you guys. You know, this is really meant for the Raspberry Pi, as you can see in the manual here. But you know, the manual is very thorough and it has a lot of information that is helpful, and as you can see, it works with all sorts of systems, and it works great with Windows, except for what I said with the programmable buttons. But definitely recommend this. And now we're gonna go ahead and get into how to set it up with one of my systems.